Welcome to Book Chat, everybody. I don't usually take the lead here, so enjoy it while it lasts. But today I'm interviewing author Tracie Puckett.
Hi!
And so since I'm the one asking the questions, I had to take the lead today. I'm not happy about it, but we'll move on.
Peer pressure.
Okay, so I'm just going to jump in. Okay, but before we get into the thick of it, I'm going to talk about your process for a minute, because you are like a big-time pantser. Okay, you write a story just by flying by the seat of your pants.
Yeah.
But I know that lately you've been talking about outlining, and so I want to know what's going on. Have I finally succeeded in seducing you to the dark side?
You wish. Like, you totally wish. I still identify as a pantser, but I've definitely kind of eased up on all that loosey-goosey writing that I used to do. Like 5 years ago, I sat down to write the Webster Grove series, and I'm like, okay, so this story is going to be about a girl who falls in love with her teacher. I had no idea what else was going to happen, but I just started writing, and somehow the series ended up writing itself. I did no planning, no plotting. I have no idea how that story happened, but it just kind of became this thing that I did. I no longer planned, or I had a very general idea of what I was going to write, but then I just sit down and write, and it seemed to work for me. But nowadays, that scares me. It scares me just a little bit. I have a little more comfort in having a direction. So I go into a story kind of knowing the beginning and the end and a couple of turning points. Most of the scenes I'm still writing by the seat of my pants, but for the very, very most part, I'm not plotting. So, if I call myself a plotter, it's like calling myself a Death Eater. And, hey, we just referenced Star Wars and Harry Potter in a matter of 2 minutes.
That's because we're awesome.
We are awesome.
Okay, so tell me about the Suttonwood series. That's your latest venture, right? Are these full-length novels or novellas? And do you think you're going to go the more full-length novel route from now on, or good mix of both?
The first book in the Suttonwood series, which is Stuck in the Moment, it's a novella. The plan was for the remaining 3 to be novellas, but you know how like you sit down and the writing process kind of changes things for you and you don't get really a say in anything? Right. The last 3 books kind of turn into novel-length books. So it's like a series starter as a novella, and then the rest of them are novels. And then, of course, I have all of these other books. I have the Webster Grove series, the Just Little series, which all tend to be novellas. Breaking series, they were novels. I think that a healthy mix is good for me. I don't like being married to any one idea, and I like having options. So I try to remain non-committal and accept a healthy mix, and that's going to be my future. Like I'm a little bit of both, and I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I like having options.
Okay, so as a reader of your work, I'm really enjoying the more kind of suspenseful turn your stories have taken lately. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you're always great at like keeping the reader's interest and keeping them turning pages, but I feel like there's a little mystery and intrigue to Suttonwood, just a hint. And Letters from Morgantown was just downright edge of your seat tension, like turning the pages like, oh,
that's good.
It was really cool. So was that like a conscious decision for you to go a little bit darker?
I don't feel like Suttonwood's has that little edge of mystery or darkness or suspense. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but if it does, which it wasn't supposed to, it was totally an unconscious decision. Like I didn't mean for that to happen at all. I feel like it's as straightforward YA contemporary as it could be. But with Running Scared, which is the first book in the Letters from Morgantown series, it was absolutely a conscious decision to write something a little bit darker. I don't know. I keep saying I don't know if the book put me in a dark place or if I was in a dark place and I needed to write the book. I still don't know. It's kind of like which came first, the chicken or the egg. Right. I'm not really sure which one of those things kind of made the other one happen. But it was kind of in a dark place when I wrote that book. So it definitely needed to happen. It was a conscious decision, and I enjoyed every step of it. I loved writing something a little bit different from what I was used to writing. So who knows, like maybe there will be some more romantic suspense for me in the future because I kind of enjoy it. I do.
Well, I enjoyed reading it. It was awesome. And speaking of Morgantown, I'm going to admit to being a little bit addicted. Like, I would love to visit that town, you know? It kind of feels like a mixture between Stars Hollow and Lunar Falls without the werewolves. But, you know, I love it when that happens in a series when, like, the town itself becomes like a whole nother character in the story.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, when can I get the next one?
The next book. So 2017 is kind of a catch-up year for me. Going into next year, it's going to be my year of finishing unfinished projects. I used to refuse to start anything new until I tied up all my loose ends. And it seems like either the older I'm getting, the more scatterbrained I'm getting. Maybe that's it. I don't know. So next year, I'm going to try to tie up all those loose ends, which means finishing the Sutton Woods series, which I'm very excited about. Finally tying up the A Little Beyond series, which was, you know, running off of the Just a Little series. Right. And then writing the next 2 books in the Letters from Morgantown series. And I don't know if there's going to be another breaking book because I keep going back and forth on that. So next year I need to figure that out. If it's going to happen, I need to just sit down and do it. And if it's not, I need to just accept that it's not going to happen and move on with my life. That said, all of that was just kind of a lead up to you will get your second book sometime in the spring of 2017 because it is
wait until spring.
Yeah, but it is my priority when looking at my unfinished projects. It is my priority, so it's not going to be that long.
It'll go fast.
It'll go a lot faster than I want it to go, I promise.
Okay, here's something I want to know.
Okay.
Your covers for those last 2 series that we just talked about, they're beautiful. Did you make them yourself, or were they done by a professional?
Okay, so I started off when I started self-publishing with this idea that I could do everything myself and I didn't need to delegate. I didn't need anybody's help and ended up shooting myself in the foot. Right. So for a few of my series, breaking series and Running Scared, getting the letters from Morgantown, those were designed by DeMonza. And they're beautiful. I can totally agree because I didn't make them and it's not me patting my own back. They're gorgeous and I love them and they will never ever change. But for the, what's the series? The Sutton Woods series. Yeah, the Sutton Woods series, I did design those covers and I'm strangely proud of them. I love the way they turned out. I like looking at the original stock photography compared to the final covers and thinking, I did that! And I'm really proud of them.
Beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yay.
So, do you ever get the urge to write something that is like totally out of your comfort zone? Like, I don't know, just different from what you normally write, like maybe a completely different genre or even the same genre, but just like a little different out of your normal purview, like vampires maybe, or I don't know, dystopia, apocalyptic something.
You know, no, it's a good question. I like staying far away from anything that's not right there in my comfort zone. I love paranormal. I love reading paranormal. I love vampires. I'm okay with werewolves. You've brought me around to werewolves. But I don't see it being a realistic thing in the foreseeable future. Really? Definitely not dystopia or what was the other one? Sci-fi or whatever it is.
Sci-fi.
No, nothing like that. But I don't know, maybe there's a vampire or ghost or werewolf book in me in my older years.
Your older years.
Definitely maybe.
Well, I know that you've got this little love for vampires, so I thought I'd ask the question.
Okay.
Okay, so do you have like a favorite quote about the writing process or something like that? Something that, I don't know, inspires you or just that you love, something you hang on to?
I mean, I have lots. I'm a sucker for quotes, especially Gilmore Girl quotes. But since we're talking, copper boom! Since we're talking about writing, I have a couple that I really, really like. And I actually wrote them down because I knew that I would screw this up. So I'm going to read them instead of trying to memorize them. The quote that keeps me accountable and it holds me accountable is, "The worst thing you write is better than the best thing you did not write." I love that quote because I'm all the time writing stories up here and I'm like, these are genius. But those stories aren't doing anything for me until I get them down on the paper. And even if they suck when they're on the paper, they're finally on the paper, which means I can make them beautiful. So I love that quote. I think there's something really beautiful about that. And then the one that keeps me very focused on what I'm doing is, "A professional writer is an amateur who didn't quit." I love that quote because I still very much so identify myself as an amateur writer. I have no delusions about where I fall on the spectrum of amateur to professional. Like, I feel like I'm still a lot closer to the amateur stage, but I'm still growing and I'm learning. And I love that quote because I do refuse to quit. So I know I'm going to get here eventually, even if I'm still stuck a little bit down here. So I like it. I love that quote.
Cool.
Yeah.
So how would you say that you've evolved creatively as a writer since you began this journey?
We kind of already touched on that a little bit. I'm better at seeing the big picture now. When I sit down to write a book, I'm not trying to do it all by the seat of my pants. And I think that by writing lots of books and lots of hours of writing, I have finally kind of figured out that pantsing it isn't the best way to go all the time. So I'd like to say that I've evolved enough to know where I can afford to take risks, meaning pantsing my butt off, and where I need to kind of stop taking risks. And that means knowing a little bit more when I start than I used to care to know.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
What advice would you give to someone just starting out in self-publishing?
I mean, what advice?
And here's an extension of that. What was the best advice you've gotten about this industry?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so to be kind of blunt, you're going to get a crap ton of terrible advice when you start self-publishing. Everybody, I guess, chooses to self-publish for different reasons. I know that there are a lot of authors who tried the traditional route and it didn't work for them, so they went indie. I'm pretty sure you and I are similar where we just said, to heck with it. We want to just be indie publishers. We don't care about going the traditional route, and jumped into it. But no matter which way you come into it, you're still kind of new to it. And everybody's going to be eager to tell you the right way to do it, the right way to succeed. And I think that it's really important for everyone to know, kind of coming into it, that success means something different to everybody. So figuring out what success means to you is the first and most important thing that you need to do. And then you need to strive to work toward that and kind of ignore what everybody else is doing and what everybody else is telling you to do. The best thing that you can do, be persistent and write your books. I published 9 books before I ever sold a single copy outside of my family. And that's the truth. So, and I didn't let it stop me. I just kept writing the books even though I knew there was no audience and I didn't care. So write your books and be persistent. You just write, publish, repeat, write, publish, repeat. Just keep doing it because persistence is gold. It's just absolute gold. Yeah. That's the best, and that's the best advice I can offer. The best advice that I ever got was actually just recently. I was giving a presentation at a high school, and they asked me, can you explain to us, describe to us how you wrote one of your books by using this very traditional plotting structure? And I'm, no, I can't do that. And I had to tell all of these high school kids, I don't really follow the rules. And it was kind of embarrassing for me to have to admit that, to be like, I know that they're teaching you that this is the right way, but for me, it's not what works. And I was super humiliated to admit this to all of these high school students. And it wasn't until after the presentation that the teacher came up to me and he said, listen, don't worry about following the rules. You're obviously doing something right. Do it your own way. And I quit feeling so guilty about breaking rules. You know, just don't worry about following the rules. Do things your own way. And I kind of have stuck with that ever since. I'm not so ashamed to admit anymore, I don't care about the pesky structure rules, and I don't care what English tells me is right. And I don't really care what anyone tells me is right. If I want to do it, I'm going to do it my own way. So don't be afraid to break the rules.
I think that's awesome. And I think probably more than likely that audience, the kids you were talking to, they probably really appreciated that too.
I mean, I think so, because when I sit down to write a story, I don't want to sit down and be like, okay, so what's my rising action and what's my climax and what's my falling and my all of that crap. I don't care about that stuff.
I don't think very many authors do that or follow that to the letter like that.
Well, ow, that hurt. I just kicked my desk. I was like, I'm gonna have a serious moment. I'm gonna cross my legs. It's gonna be really smooth, and then I kicked the corner of my desk. Wow. Okay, so I think that there are a lot of authors, though, because we go to conferences all the time and we hear them saying, this is the right way to do it, and this is how your book should be structured, or it has to be in 3 acts, and you have to have this turning point here and this turning point here. Once you get 10% into your book, you need to have this happen and this happen. And honestly, I'm just like, screw it. I don't care about the rules. I'm going to write my story. If it doesn't fall in those guidelines, don't care. Like, I want to tell my story the way I want to tell my story. And obviously, this feels terrible. I feel terrible saying this, but obviously it's not hurting me. Like, it's not hurting me to not follow the rules, so I'm not going to change it.
There's a great quote by, I think it's Nora Roberts.
She's amazing.
Yeah. Anyone who tells you there's a right way to write is lying.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like that. I mean, they are. I feel like they are. Sometimes I feel like I tell myself this is the right way to do it, and yet I sit down to write the next book and it's completely different. So I think even telling myself that there's a right way is stupid, because I'm always going to be arguing with myself.
Here's a fun question.
Oh, I like fun questions.
If you could be any one of your own characters from any series, who would it be and why?
This is a hard question, because I thought, how fun would it be to be Matt in the Just a Little series? Because there's so many times I feel like Julie needed someone to smack her upside the head and tell her to quit acting like such an idiot. So I thought it'd be fun to smack Julie around a little bit and be like, come on, girl, get your stuff together. But after some thought, I think that I would really like to be Roz from my book that's not even out yet. It's coming out in October, Where You Belong. It's the second book in the Sutton Woods series.
Okay. It
wouldn't be a big stretch for me to be Roz, because she's really loud and a little obnoxious, and she's loyal to a fault. You know, when she loves somebody, she's there for them 100%. So she's totally loyal, and she's a huge dreamer. And
that sounds like someone I know.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be too hard for me to be Roz, but here's why I would really like to be Roz, okay? She has this incredible support system of family and friends that she doesn't really even realize is there, but they would do anything for her. And she gets to spend a lot of time and eventually fall in love with her favorite celebrity. And who wouldn't want to do that?
Exactly.
Who hasn't at some point had this dream of like walking down the aisle with their hot celebrity crush?
Right.
So, yeah, I think it would be fun to be Roz. Get to spend some time with my celebrity man. Which the person that is changes on a daily basis. Right now, it's kind of like Dave Franco. Dave Franco comes around a lot. Like,
you're watching right now.
I'd marry Dave Franco.
Okay, so
I liked that question.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Okay, so if one of your characters called you in the middle of the night,
okay,
to come bail them out of jail, who would it be, and what would they have gotten arrested for?
That is the easiest question in the world to answer. Jasper. he is one of the main characters, and Stuck in the Moment, he's the love interest. So first book of the Sutton Woods series, Stuck in the Moment, Jasper. Because the dude is always breaking and entering. He is constantly breaking into places he should not be going into. And it's going to catch up with him. It is absolutely going to catch. I mean, he always has good intentions. He never breaks in. He never breaks in for any reason other than to do something nice and sweet. But it's kind of creepy. And it's definitely illegal, and he's gonna get caught. And I am waiting on that phone call every single night. Tracie, come bail me out of jail. I'm like, all right, Jasper, I'll be there in a minute.
Okay, so what does the end of 2016 look like for Tracie Puckett as far as book news?
I don't even know what tomorrow looks like for Tracie Puckett, because every day is like a surprise to me. I wake up and I'm like, oh, yay! It's gonna be a good day. If I'm being a big dreamer and I'm hoping that things stay on this track, the end of 2016 looks a little something like this.
Okay.
October we'll have a book release, which will be the second book in the Sutton Woods series, which is Where You Belong. And then late December, I have the second book in the A Little Beyond series coming out, which is A Little Beyond Time. And I'm excited about that because I missed Luke and Julie a little bit. I just sat down and read all of the books again, and I'm like, oh, I miss these guys. So it was fun sitting down and reading all of the books from straight through to the beginning to where I'm at now. And that was fun. So that'll be late December. And I'm trying not to be any more ambitious than that for the end of 2016. So no appearances, no book signings. I'm just going to stay in my writing cave and ignore the world because I'm really good at doing that.
Okay, you ready for a lightning round?
Lightning round, hit me.
All right, hair, short or long?
Long on both men and women. Love me some hair.
Spring or fall?
Fall.
Chocolate or strawberry?
Ugh. Next.
Okay, dine in or carry out?
Carry out.
Jeans or skirts?
Skirts.
Up early or sleep late?
Oh, I used to be an early riser, but not anymore. Sleep late.
Pizza or everything else?
Pizza. I don't even have to hear the other one. Pizza. I don't even know what you said. Pizza.
Halloween or Christmas?
Halloween.
Okay, Brandon Routh or Tom Cavanaugh? It's a serious question.
Brandon Routh or Tom Cavanaugh? Dave Franco.
There you go.
Brandon Routh, I guess. That's a hard one. I love them both.
I know you do.
Are we done?
We are done. That's all I got. So what you reading right now?
What am I reading?
Yep.
What is that book called? Oh, it is a book called Still Missing. Hold that thought. I actually have the name of the author here somewhere in some of my notes. Nope, that's not it. Give me a sec. Chevy Stevens. It is a suspense novel. I can't even go as far as to call it a romantic suspense because there's a tidbit of romance at the very end, but it's excellent suspense novel. Absolutely loved it. New York Times bestseller about this lady she's a realtor and she's kidnapped. She's abducted while she's showing a house. And it's kind of her story of captivity and escape. And it's super good. But it's kind of told in this series of flashbacks as she's sitting in therapy. So it's super good. Super good.
What's the title again?
Still Missing.
Still Missing.
Excellent book. I've already recommended it to everybody in my immediate circle, and I know that 2 people have already read it. So I'm like, yay!
Still Missing by
Chevy Stevens.
Chevy Stevens. Sounds awesome.
Yes,
okay.
It's a very good book. What are you reading?
I just reread a classic. It's called Letting Scared by Tracie Puckett.
That's my book.
And it's full of suspense. I'm not kidding. Edge of your seat. You will love it. Just pick it up. But you might want to wait until, I don't know, spring of 20.
Don't say that. You're costing me sales. What is wrong with you?
No, seriously. I am anxiously awaiting book 2 of that series. So.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm so happy. Yeah, I miss Chris and Sydney big time. So I'm really excited to get back into that world.
Okay, so tell us what you got coming up. Pimp yourself right now.
Pimp myself. Okay, so October I have Where You Belong coming out, and then obviously December for A Little Beyond Time. Is that right? I keep saying A Little Beyond Time, and that does not feel right. Yeah, A Little Beyond Time. There are so many of them. I had so many Just a Littles and so many A Little Beyonds that I have to actually stop sometimes and think, is that the right one?
Get it.
There was only supposed to be 4, and now I'm on like 11 or something. Yeah, like 11 or 12. It's ridiculous. They did not want to leave me alone. So yeah, I have that coming out in December, and that's about as much pimping as you're going to get from me today.
Okay. Well, I have
yourself.
Pit myself. I have Fated Moon, which is book 2 of the Rogue Moon series, and it is available for pre-order right now.
Ooh.
It comes out October 30th.
I pre-ordered that last night, actually.
Thank you.
I was super excited.
I also just put the entire Lunar Falls trilogy plus the novella in KU. So if you have KU, if you're a KU member, you can read it for free.
What is KU?
That's Kindle Unlimited.
Oh. I feel like I should know more about that, but I don't. That's really sad.
It's an Amazon program, you know,
I'll look into it.
You can like borrow books for free, and yeah.
Oh. Well, this might be a conversation for another time because I want to hear more about that.
Okay.
All right, cool. So coming up on
Oh, go ahead.
Do you want to do it?
Go ahead.
Are you done other than plugging our schedule? Are you done with everything?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, cool. So coming up on Book Chat and future months, I just went back into my takeover mode. So in October, so our very next Book Chat, we're going to be switching roles, and I'm going to be interviewing Miss Lashell about a lot of things, you know, cops and werewolves and rock stars. Oh my! So I'm really excited about October and getting to ask her some questions and pick her brain. And I'm going to be a little mean, I think, because some of those questions you asked me were kind of mean. In November, I'm really excited. We are going to be doing a show called What You Watchin', and we're going to be talking about the television shows and movies that we watch, the actors and the actresses who play in those shows, and how those things influence what we write. I'm really excited about that episode. And then December, we are doing an episode called Christmas Romance. And that's all we're telling you for now because we're still kind of planning that one. Really excited about it, and we hope that you guys will join us in the upcoming months. So that's it from us, I think. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight, and we will see you next month.